Hi, good morning, everybody. Last night, students at a major university vote not to ban the American flag after all.
Now, those against flying the flag at UC Irvine in California originally called the Stars and Stripes, quote, a weapon of nationalism. And if they get their way, it may still be removed for good. The question still hangs in the air. Here to react and tell us more is campus reform correspondent Lauren Clark. Lauren, thanks a lot for joining us this morning. So,
thank you for having me.
First, to the update on this story. Where are we? This flag could still be banned. Is that right?
Correct. So currently, last night, the executive board vetoed this decision, but now it goes back to the legislative council for the student government. And if they voted the way they did, which was 6-4, 4 against this and 2 abstaining, it's enough to override this veto. So having this flag ban in effect is still very much a possibility.
Well, the reason behind the potential ban is because of cultural inclusiveness, according to the university. Let's read a statement from the University of California, Irvine. The American flag has been flown in instances of colonialism and imperialism. Flags not only serve as symbols of patriotism or weapons for nationalism, but also construct cultural mythologies and narratives that in turn charge nationalistic sentiments. Your issue with this?
Right, so that's definitely a mouthful. And what's another good point to bring up is, what do student veterans think about this? Students who have served overseas and then coming home and seeing something that stands for everything they fought for, liberty, freedom, being called offensive, that it needs to be taken down. And when Campus Reform was reporting on this story, we found out that several student veterans are very upset about this, as well as students, and they're going to try to protest this decision on Monday. So there are a lot of students having a lot of negative attitudes about this bill.
So I'm not surprised by this. I think schools at every level spend a disproportionate amount of time focused on America's sins, real and imagined. And so it's maybe not so shocking that kids grow up to hate their country. You cover schools. Are you shocked?
I agree, Tucker. This, unfortunately, is not very shocking. This is something that we follow all the time at the Leadership Institute's Campus Reform, that it crosses the line from critiques about your government and country into anti-American sentiment and hatred. For example, we had one of our reporters, Kayla Bonham, ask students, what is more of a threat to world peace, America or ISIS? And students responded that it was America, even though ISIS is an organization that beheads and burns people alive. And we also saw University of Wyoming, a student veteran who was told he was not allowed to say the Pledge of Allegiance before a student government meeting because it could be offensive to international students. So this is clearly an issue nationwide.
Yeah, well, and is it a slippery slope? I mean, if you ban the American flag, are you going to ban English next because of students who take English as a second language and, you know, they're going to feel a little bit uncomfortable having everybody else speak English?
Right. So another issue about this whole flag banning nonsense is this idea of free speech. One of the sentences in the bill stated that if a student is offended by any item in the main student lobby, that they have the right to take it down. Well, what message does this send to students? That instead of discussing this like the civil adults we are, that it must automatically be banned? It's just absolutely ridiculous. And the only way that the student government can truly solve this problem if they have blank walls with nothing on it. That way it doesn't offend anyone.
Well, not being offended seems a top priority on campus in 2015. How fragile and sensitive are kids now?
Right. I think this is offensive to students. We are adults. We are able to discuss these issues. But for some reason, administrators or those in student government feel the need to coddle us and to make sure that we're not offended by anything, even though these are true issues that we need to discuss. And college is absolutely the atmosphere where these discussions need to be taking place.
Do you feel like this is suppressing the patriotism of students, or is it making them want to fly the flag even more?
Right. So it's actually very encouraging that a lot of students are against this, that they're trying to stage a protest about it. I think that students are starting to come around and seeing that all of this type of anti-American sentimentism and all this type of reactions are negative.
I don't know about you, but I'm withdrawing my children's applications to UC Irvine. It's just the dream has died for me. Lauren Clark, thanks a lot for coming on today. We appreciate it.
Thank you.